A lot of parents, especially ones that I feel like are around me, we wonder if we're doing too much with our kids, is this gonna burn them out? What do you say to parents like that because gymnastics or baseball or basketball or whatever it is, it feels like we're starting our kids really early in these sports and we're not letting up. So there has been burnout. How do you guys try to avoid that?
Yeah.
Or what's your advice, I guess, for parents who might be facing something like that? She is Olympic royalty, Amanda Borden. Can you remember where you were when the Magnificent Seven won gold at the Atlanta Games back in 1996? That is the first time the U.S. women's gymnastics team won gold. They did it again in 2012 with the Fierce Five and once more in 2016 with the Final Five. From the haircuts to the landing by Carrie Strug, that 1996 team, legendary. And the captain of that team has made Arizona home, serving thousands of gymnasts right here in the Valley. We've got a month to go until the start of the Olympic Games, so Amanda Borden and I caught up before she takes off to Paris. We can all recall that moment in 1996, watching your team, the first women's gymnastics team from the USA to win gold. Can you still recall those feelings?
There's some days where it literally feels like yesterday, and I can just vividly remember every part of it, and other times I'm like, was that my life? Like, I can't believe I was a part of that. And I think as time goes by, I just appreciate it more and more.
One of the best things about you is that you took that moment and you turned it into giving back, and that you've opened up 2 gyms now in the Valley. You've come right back home and you are serving this community and serving the next generation of gymnasts. You're here all the time. You've got hundreds of girls and boys competing. What is it like to see now the next generation come up?
My dad, when I was little, told me, do what you love, and gymnastics is what I loved. And then I knew I loved to teach kids, so I went to school to be a teacher. And I think just being able to do my 2 favorite things as a career, as a job, I sometimes wake up every day and I'm like, how did I get so lucky? But I think my favorite part about it is helping kids find what they love, and learning that when we work hard at something and we never give up and we are resilient and we get back up, like, you can be anything you want to be. And to do that every single day, I think is just such an honor.
You're going to Paris. What are your thoughts on the team this year and the girls who are trying to get on that team? It's more competitive than it's ever been. You guys set the gold standard. Ever since then, it's like, oh yeah, US always wins gold.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Team USA is expected to win, right? But the hardest part about it is going to be making the team. Of course, you got Simone Biles leading the way. She's back in it, and she's tough to beat. But we have so many athletes. Honestly, Team USA could have 2 teams at the Olympics and, probably go 1-2 in the world.
Are you so excited to watch?
So excited. It's my favorite time of year. I love every Olympic sport, to be honest with you, but gymnastics is by far my favorite, and I'll be also at the Olympic trials, which is a fun experience too.
So these girls, especially once the Olympics hits, I mean, I cannot even imagine the flood of new people who come in and want to be gymnasts. What do you say to those people who are watching and then they catch the fever? What's something important they need to know about this sport in particular?
Gymnastics is great at any level. We have kids that come in that are just walking and learning and, getting the coordination they need, obviously all the way through competitive levels with, kids pursuing Olympic dreams or college scholarships. We offer ninja, we offer dance, and so I think really our goal is to help kids find, activities they love and be in a good environment where they're learning to believe in themselves and, pursue their goals and dreams.
And I didn't know this, but right before the Olympics in 1996, you got hurt.
Well, the year before the Olympics, I actually got injured, and so I physically couldn't do all the work anymore, and that's where I think my mental training came in even more. Ultimately, your body doesn't know that you're not doing the flips if your brain can see it. And so I would sit down in the corner of the gym and I would visualize routine after routine after routine after routine, so that when my body was healthy again, it just picked up where it left off. Obviously, I did a lot of conditioning and a lot of fitness to stay in shape. But that's when I realized, like, if I can believe truly in what I'm trying to accomplish, if I can see myself doing it, I now have a chance to do it under pressure when it matters most. And I think, now I look at that working with the kids I coach, it's empowering them to own their goals, do the work, be able to see it happening. And then when it doesn't happen, then what do? How do we regroup? Because it's not going to happen every time. It's then how we respond and start that process again. Where did I miss the mark? What do I need to, tighten up on? Things like that. So, I think giving kids the mental strength that gymnastics takes is probably one of the greatest gifts we get from gymnastics is learning that mental and emotional toughness.
A lot of parents, especially ones that I feel like are around me, we wonder if we're doing too much with our kids, is this going to burn them out? What do you say to parents like that because gymnastics or baseball or basketball or whatever it is, it feels like we're starting our kids really early in these sports and we're not letting up. So there has been burnout. How do you guys try to avoid that?
Yeah.
Or what's your advice, I guess, for parents who might be facing something like that?
Yeah, I think, number one, I had moments in my career where I felt like maybe I should be done, and that's normal for our kids to, explore that. I wanted to be done when I didn't make an Olympic team. I wanted to be done when I had an injury. I wanted to be done when all my friends were, going to football games and I was at practice. All of those things are because there were other options, right? I just don't have to work through it, or I could do something different. And so my parents taught me to make lists of like the pros and cons of sticking with it, pros and cons of not. And again, those decision-making opportunities for our kids gives them the power and control to make decisions for themselves. My number one, best advice, my dad shared it with me, I try to share it with everybody, is our kids should be doing what they love. And there's elements of gymnastics I didn't love, right? I mean, all the conditioning, or, I did not love vault. But, 90% of what I was doing every day, I loved. And so when it was tough, when I felt burnt out, if I always went back to listening to my heart, I made the right decision. And I lost my mom 9 years ago, and I just wish I could thank her every day. How did you know to let me make the decisions? How did you guide me to make these decisions? Because when you have kids, right, you don't want to see them make the wrong decision. And so you do feel as a parent, you're trying to find that balance. But I think, helping our kids learn and navigate all of that decision making in their sport is, again, one of the greatest opportunities we can give them.
By the end of this weekend, we will know which gymnasts will represent Team USA in Paris. The Olympic trials for gymnastics happening right now in Minneapolis. Some names that you need to know. Simone Biles, who is the best in the world. She is a 7-time Olympic gymnast. When the 27-year-old is named to the Olympic squad this weekend, Simone will be the first American woman since Dominique Dawes to compete in 3 straight Olympics in artistic gymnastics. By the way, Dominique Dawes was part of that Magnificent 7 group with Amanda Borden. Okay, so back to Biles. You remember what happened in Tokyo. Biles withdrew from competition after the women's team final, prioritizing her mental health while dealing with what gymnasts call the twisties, where her body and her mind were out of sync. Biles took a year off after that. She came back, though, stronger than ever in 2023, taking her record-setting 6th world all-around win last October. Some other names you need to look out for when you're watching the trials this weekend. Suni Lee, who actually won a gold medal at the last Olympics in Tokyo. Sky Blakely, she's only 19 years old, a force on vault. And Shalise Jones, who is dealing with a shoulder injury. She's actually been resting a bit ahead of the trials this weekend. You can bet 12 News will have all of it covered for you right here. Thanks for watching MOMCAST, everyone. I am Emma Jade. We'll see you next time.